An opportunity today to speak on the importance of simplicity. Thank you, Ashram Mother Prabhu, for hosting this program. We'll start with prayers. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Shamuna Tiravana Shari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Hari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Ramunatiravana Shari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Ramunatiravana Shari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Shari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Shari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada Prabhupada Jayo Prabhupada. We'll do Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So we will today discuss about simplicity in bhakti, how that is important, especially when we are in the early stages of bhakti. It becomes even more important because that doesn't come naturally. When we advance in bhakti, then it becomes natural for us to get the quality of simplicity. Otherwise, we have to endeavor to attain simplicity while practicing our bhakti. So this verse from the 5th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it was in the conversation of Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. So when Hiranyakashipu was testing the knowledge of Prahlad Maharaj, in one of his conversations, he recited this verse. Naishamatista vadurukramangrim sprishatyanarthapagamo yadartha mahiya sampadarajoabhishekam nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. Naishamatista vadurukramangrim sprishatyanarthapagamo yadartha mahiya sampadarajoabhishekam nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. Naishamatista vadurukramangrim sprishatyanarthapagamo yadartha mahiya sampadarajoabhishekam nishkinchananam navrinita yavat. Translation: unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj was sitting in his assembly and he witnessed one mysterious action that Shishupala, who was speaking against Krishna, who was blaspheming Krishna, when he was killed by Krishna with his Sudarshana Chakra, suddenly his soul went out of his body and then merged into the lotus feet of Krishna. So he attained mukti. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was very astonished by this action. How can a person who is blaspheming the Supreme Lord can attain mukti? It looks counter intuitive, because if a person is an atheist and he is continuously blaspheming Krishna, the Supreme Lord, he should be thrown into a deep hell to purify his own mind. But on the other hand, he not only was not sent to the hell, but he was also given mukti. How did that happen? So he asked this question to Narada Muni. Narada Muni then talked about the history of Shishupala, starting from Jaya and Vijaya pastime, where they fell down from the spiritual world. They were once associates of the Supreme Lord. In that conversation, the topic of Hiranyakashipu has come again. Previously, Hiranyaksha, who was a brother of Hiranyakashipu, fought with Lord Varahadev. That was discussed in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now in the second canto, the younger brother story is discussed, or the elder one, because they were born at the same time. So in the forest, the tiger is said to be one of the very ferocious and powerful and mighty animal. So when the tiger comes in the forest, all the animals become very fearful. They run away for their life because of the majestic look the tiger has, because of the power the tiger possesses. All the small animals, including deer and other big animals also, they run away. They are very fearful of tiger. But tiger is irritated by one small little bird that sits on the back of the tiger. So if a bird sits on the back of the tiger, and wherever the tiger goes, and then it creates the noise, what happens? All his prey will run away, run out of fear, because they got the alarm ahead in time. The tiger couldn't reach its back and catch that bird either. So it gets very annoyed by this small bird. The small bird is actually very powerless. It does not possess any power. It can be just easily knocked off of its own body and then kicked out of its existence. But that small bird was irritating this tiger. Wherever the tiger is going, it is chirping and alerting all the prey. And because of this, the tiger was unable to catch the prey and eat it. Tiger's life becomes very miserable. So similarly, Hiranyakashipu, he's so powerful, but his life has become extremely miserable because of his small son, who is around 5 years old. Not so much capability also. And he wasn't doing anything against Hiranyakashipu, but his whole irritation was focused toward Prahlad Maharaj, his own son. Why did that happen? So I was reading one book, and the author of the book was explaining his experience in the meditation he has encountered, the meditation practice. One of the popular meditation technique, I'm not going to name that, but was practiced where you have to go completely to a secluded place, far away from the city, into the jungle, where not even transportation systems can enter. So he was far away into the forest, where if you look around, you'll only see greenery. There is not even a proper road systems available. So he went to that place, and there was an ashram. And in that ashram, they were teaching this particular meditation technique. So in the morning, this person would go, and they will ring a bell. He has to wake up and help out with activities there. And after that, around 9 o'clock, they would start doing meditation. The meditation will continue in different varieties of forms until the evening. And then in the evening also, they don't speak with each other. They have to keep quiet, and he has to go for taking rest. And this continues for weeks like that. So when the person was meditating on the first day, he has to keep quiet. And there is no sound around in the surrounding environment. It was very calm, quiet, and peaceful. But then, the first day of meditation, he was able to witness a lot of noise within. The mind was continuously chattering. The mind is producing narrations, different narrations, taking away the consciousness. So he was surprised to see. And then later upon his inquiry, he found out that everyone who comes for that meditation, the first day this happens. It was not that the author was facing this chattering noise within the mind for the first time. It is already there. It is just that he wasn't hearing it. But as soon as the person is sitting quiet, he was able to hear. Even when we are chanting in the morning also, sometimes, or most of the time, you would hear this, that what happened the previous day, what happened in the work, if you're focused on the work, or what happened with that particular devotee, interaction with that particular devotee, or there is a conflict going on, or there is a problem going on back in the home. Mind would be continuously thinking about it. How can I control this? How can I take this? That person took this away from me. Continuously, it's chattering. We may think we are identifying ourselves with that chattering noise. We may think, oh, I am thinking like that. No, I am not thinking. The mind is thinking, stealing the consciousness away from me and from the chanting process I am doing. Anyways, so in the first day was over, and in the second day, the author started witnessing another thing, that the persons around him who are also sitting for meditation, he started getting annoyed by them, by the way the other persons are breathing, by the way they dressed up, by the way they have the beard and hairstyle. He was thinking that they dressed up, or they are breathing in a particular way just to annoy him, just to teach him a particular lesson. All these things are going on in his mind. So even though there is no problem in that whole situation, he felt so much anger within his mind. His nose is breathing out hot air. We may see sometimes we'll be sitting just in front of our laptop and working, and then suddenly we'll be just breathing with heavy, hot burning air, because we are thinking about something. That person should not have behaved like this. I should do that next time. Next time, whenever he is, coming in front of me, maybe I'll just, explicitly say what nonsense he is doing, right? Then we'll soon realize, oh, I'm not even talking to that person. I'm just sitting right in front of my computer. But the whole situation within the mind has portrayed in such a way that we would be transported to a different place and getting angry with a different person. Why this happens? Even though there is no problem, we are powerful like the tiger in the forest. Because of our small attachment, like the small bird that was sitting on the back of the tiger, because of our attachment, which are like the small bird, which is entirely within our mind, it is not outside of our mind, we are completely disturbed. We are completely put in anxious state. We may think that person has created a problem. I was keeping quiet. I am doing my own sadhana, and when my service is coming and disturbing me, he should not have behaved like that. But no, that's not the problem with that person. It's the problem within our mind. Because the mind is portraying this as a problem. Why we have to believe whatever the mind is saying? Why we have to accept that? Why I have to think it is a problem? Why I have to believe in the narration of the mind? I have put a certain constraints within my mind. Oh, if this particular situation has happened, then I would be very happy. If anything goes wrong in that plan, even a single screw goes wrong in that plan, then I'll become sad. Where did that constraint arise from? Nobody came and told us that if this particular plan happens, you will become happy, otherwise you will become sad. No. It is all within the mind that's happening. We are putting value to certain things, certain scenarios, certain moods, certain habits. We are adding a value. If certain moods come to me, I will feel happy. If that certain mood disappears, I will not feel happy. Same thing with going to gym in the morning, or picking up the chanting bag and chanting in the morning, or anytime you want to sit and chant. The problem is we don't do that because we think that there is no motivation. There is somebody has to come and motivate me, inspire me. Why are we putting that constraint within the mind that somebody has to motivate me? Because if somebody motivates me, I can just do it without feeling miserable. So we are adding some value there. Oh, this particular feeling is there, then I will become happy. If that particular feeling is not there, then I will not become happy. All we are doing is creating attachment to certain feelings. And once we create that attachment itself is causing the misery. So one of the famous statements that is present in the Constitution is that pursuit of happiness. That's a very good goal. That is a worthy goal. The reason is the Jiva, the Atma, each one of us, single person, supposed to be happy. That is our constitutional nature. We should be happy. That's the correct goal. However, the environment we are thrown into, where we are seeking, that is completely wrong. Just as when there is a moon displayed, yesterday we had a Gaur Purnima, a day before yesterday. So Gaur Purnima means, this full moon day. So we could see the full moon on the sky. When the full moon gets reflected into the water, you would see the exact full moon replica. But then if you search so much into the water to catch that moon, we won't ever be able to catch. Similarly, here, we are attaching value to the emotions, value to things. When I get that thing, I'll become happy. We are putting that value. Because of all these constraints, because of all this attachment I'm creating, everything is within the mind only. Then I am feeling miserable by that very process. I put a constraint, I set a goal that if I achieve this, for example, let's say I buy a Tesla car, or I just drink, I'll become happy. So this is the constraint I'm putting within my mind. And then I try to endeavor to achieve it. That process itself gives misery, because we don't like our current situation, and we are looking for another situation which is also not in our hand to be changed. For example, let's say I'm fighting with another person, another colleague in my office, and all I want is that he should realize that what I'm doing is the correct thing, and then he should be obedient to me. Then all the problems will be solved. I'm attaching happiness to that state where, if he becomes convinced by me, then I become happy. To that state, I'm attaching happiness. And then I start pursuing after that. Sometimes he listens to me, I feel very happy. Sometimes he doesn't listen to me, I feel very miserable. Why? In the first case, because I have put value to that particular situation. I have added a value. If I have not added a value to that situation, then nothing happens. I'm not going to be changed. I will just stick to who I am. And because that thing, the result is not in my hand, my pursuit of that happiness is also my pursuit of my own misery. As much endeavor I put to pursue to attain that goal, that much misery I'm going to face, because that very process itself is giving misery. Not only that, when you achieve that goal also, that goal is also temporary, stays there for a moment, and then it's fleeting, goes out of our hand. Just like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu thought that if I capture the three worlds and put every devata under my control, I will become happy. I will just conquer Indra and everybody should just obey me. I will become happy. And there is this one person, small person, who is his very own son, Prahlad Maharaj. He did not listen to him. That made him very furious. He strived so hard to kill that person, erase him out of existence. That very process itself, the pursuit of his happiness was disappearance of Prahlad. That, or make Prahlad obey to me, or make Prahlad accept my philosophy. Whatever I'm thinking is the right, come into my mood. That very pursuit of that particular happiness state, which he is considering it as a happiness, became the process of misery for him. Every moment he was anxious that the enemy is trying to kill me, and they are planting seed within the heart of my own son. My son is becoming untrustworthy. So how do we remove the misery then? What is the simple process to remove the misery? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 9.10. Let's look at the verse. Very easy number to remember, 9, 10. Okay. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunnanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non-moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Maya adhyakshena prakriti, this prakriti is under my control. It's acting, it is moving under my own control. So our mind, our body, our internal sense organs, everything is made of Krishna's energy. So if we take shelter of the person who has created all these things, then that will lead us to a state of happiness. Because only he knows how these things work and he can cure it. It becomes a very simple process. So by surrendering to Krishna, we can cross all our attachments to this state of happiness, so-called happiness. We have put constraints within our own mind, in our own life. There is another obstacle to take shelter of Krishna. That is the powers or the opulences that we possess. So Kunti says in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, Janmaishwarya Shruta Shribhir Edhamana Madhav Puman Naivar Hatyabdhatum Vai Twamat Kinchana Gocharam. My Lord, your Lordship can be easily approached but only by those who are materially exhausted. One who is on the path of material progress, trying to improve himself with respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, and bodily beauty cannot approach you with sincere feeling. So Hiranyakashipu was possessing all these opulences to a very high degree. He was having a very good parentage. He was, born of Rishi, a great Rishi, Kashyapa, and he was having so much opulence that we could not even imagine in the modern day. We don't even know where the Swarga is located. You're thinking there is Swarga on the top, but we cannot see where is the Swargaloka described in the Bhagavatam. It is all hidden from our eyesight. He has conquered that. He has not only seen that, Hiranyakashipu has conquered that Swargaloka, which we are not able to even locate it. Where is it? Nobody knows. He had a great opulence. And the owner of that Swargaloka, which is Indra, he was serving Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was just acting as he wishes, any way he wants. He had a very great opulence. And this, of course, he is highly educated. He knows what all sorts of politics, where to hit a particular point for the enemy, and how the enemy could be controlled in a specific way. All the politics, everything he knows. And he was also beautiful. But he wasn't able to surrender to Krishna. So the more opulence we have, it becomes also an obstacle to surrender to Krishna. Why? We become very naturally very attached to that opulence, and then we start developing pride. And we have that pride because of the opulences we possess. Then the feeling that comes out of us toward Krishna, then it becomes not so much as like a person who does not have anything and then he is requesting to Krishna. So Prabhupada says here in the purport that a mentally puffed up person may utter the holy name of the Lord occasionally, but he is incapable of uttering the name in quality. Whereas a helpless man can feelingly utter the holy name of the Lord. Whereas a man who utters the same holy name in great material satisfaction cannot be so sincere. So there is the quality of surrendering to the Lord, praying to the Lord. When we are chanting in the morning, everything is going on in our life nicely. Our chanting is going to be very miserable because we'll be just thinking about what is the next step. How can I upgrade all the opulences I possess? And we're just happy. No worries. But when we are put into situation, especially I have felt, there's something goes wrong in my office, and then I feel like, nothing is there in my control. Everything becomes baseless. Just like a building, we have so many foundations for us. I have this foundation. Oh, I'm standing on top of that. I think I'm a great person. I have this foundation here. I have nice bank balance savings. I have this foundation here. I'm running many programs. I'm controlling this, I'm controlling that. I have so many people under me, and so many people are, taking guidance from me, whatever it is. So you have so many artificial foundation set up. You put up the building on the top of that. And then all these foundations are smashed within a moment. Then you'll see that whole building collapses. The very nature of all these foundations in the material world is they are fleeting in nature. They are not steady. As long as we are taking shelter of these foundations, then our whole structure will collapse. Will collapse very nicely. But that collapse is actually very good, because that is the time. If we have a positive mentality, if we have a positive mentality in the sense that, we take it, we see the good of it. We don't see the bad of it. We see the good. There is a nice opportunity for me to feelingly, pray toward Krishna. All this high parentage, when that is taken away, all good wealth taken away, high education, somebody, I may be very scholarly in person. There may be one other person who comes more scholarly than me, and then he defeats me in front of, so many big people. That becomes very shameful, embarrassing. That is an attractive beauty. This is a big problem, especially for women. when we age, which is natural. Everyone is going to be aging, right? In the teenagers, especially, it becomes very difficult. You are going to age. Nothing is going to stop that happening. Aging, by its very nature, it's going to steal away the beauty. And if we take shelter of that beauty, I am so beautiful, I'm so delighted, I can just walk in the road and then everybody is just looking at me and feeling attracted. If you take shelter of that, that is a fleeting happiness, because it is going to go away. And when we are being deprived of that, we'll feel so much miserable. We'll try to do this. Okay, let me just go and, oh, my hair fell away. Let me go and fix my hair. Oh, my hairs are becoming white. Let me dye it up and then make me look as how I look. Oh, my skin is having wrinkles. Let me just inject some cosmetic injections so that, I can make it look neat. I have one of the relatives, who went to an extent of doing a leg surgery just to increase the height of the person. You break the bone and then you attach some steel plates so you can be taller. People go to that extent to save their beauty and become more beautiful. All for what? For another 10 years, 20 years, it's going to go away. So instead of taking shelter of that, why don't we take shelter of the moment that we are losing this as an opportunity to surrender to Krishna? And that's what Kunti Maharani is saying. As long as we possess this, they can act as obstacle. Possess in the sense we are feeling attached toward that. You can also use these things in the service of Krishna. That's a separate thing. But I'm talking about in most cases, and then we just get attracted, especially in the beginning of Bhakti, we get attracted to these things. We try to take advantage of that. But when these things are going away, we are put into misery. But let's take shelter of that miserable position, because that is very conducive for us to take shelter of Krishna. We cannot get much more conducive situation than we are given all these opulences, and then the time is stealing that away from all of us. So that is the nice position. Some relative, close relative passes away. It's actually a very nice position to take shelter of Krishna. What else could be more? I mean, we are losing a loud and dear one. When that person is taken away, that's a very opportunistic moment to take shelter of Krishna. Same with beauty, wealth, whatever it is. If we put our whole thinking in toward that direction, then we will not be disturbed by anything that goes away from our life. It is just a mental adjustment. Just as we are putting that, if I'm beautiful, I become happy. If some 3%, 4% look at me because of my beauty, I become happy. Nobody is giving you any injection so that, you become happy. No, it is constraints I have created in my mind. And when that gets satisfied, I think myself, I just should become happy. So similarly, we have to just, rewire, rewrite those constraints in our mind. When these go away, I will become happy because I can take shelter of Krishna. Then there is nothing for us to worry about. Okay. But Prahlad Maharaj was exactly in the same mood. So Hiranyakashipu was attached to that pursuit of his own so-called happiness. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj, though he also had a very good parentage in the sense of his father is controlling the three worlds, what could be a good parentage than that in the modern age? You are son of, let's say, Bill Gates or Warren Buffett. How much opulence you have in modern day, that is a high parentage that's considered a good wealth. But everything is going away from Prahlad Maharaj. His very own father is trying to kill him, and all the wealth is not going to be his own. But he's taking that moment to surrender to Krishna. Then his life has become very happy. This is the difference between Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. So, but how do we get rewired? we get theoretical knowledge, but how do we take help? It's not so easy to rewire. It's not just a theoretical philosophy that will enter into my ears and then it will change everything in one day. No. So it is because of the mercy of the Lord, the grace of the Lord. So the grace or the mercy of the Lord has to flow. When that flows within us, then things becomes easy for us to change everything within our life. So who is the via medium for that grace? Guru. Guru is the person, Guru or devotee is the person who is the conductor for the mercy to appear. Because we are not seeing Krishna in this world right now. Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, and as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he appeared 500 years ago. He's not in front of us. How are we going to get mercy of the Lord? We don't have connection. Also, we cannot hear Krishna speaking to us. Within heart or from the deity, we are not able to hear any voice. How are we going to get mercy? Where is God's mercy? Is God merciful at all? If he is merciful, you should just, many times we may say that you should just come in front of me and show me a miracle so that, he will show his mercy. There is no need to search for a miracle. The miracle is that he has sent his own devotees. Sent his own devotees in the sense that who are Madhyamadikari practicing here, they are also the conductors of that mercy because they have received mercy from their Guru. And the Guru has received mercy from his Guru. Like that goes all the way to Krishna. The whole parampara is conducting that mercy coming to a common man like us. So if we get that mercy from the Guru, then things can change in our life. Then we will see how we can be not attached to different things and we can feel happy in every moment. That is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely freed from material contaminations, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. So that smearing the dust of the lotus feet, in one sense, it is literal, but it is not that every time, every day we are going to go in the road and then wherever the Vaishnava is walking, take the dust and put it on our head and then walk and do all other kinds of nonsense. Smearing the dust is telling basically that we take shelter of a Guru, we take shelter of a devotee of Krishna, we take the grace from that person. His instruction, the grace comes in the form of the instructions. So we follow the instructions. When we follow the instructions, we put our full endeavor to follow the instructions, then we receive the grace. And what is the Guru's instruction? The Guru's instruction is to worship Krishna again, the Lord. All worship the Lord, all with your heart. That is his instruction. Sometimes you may get specific instructions, but if you don't, but that is the Guru's instruction. Love the Lord all with your heart, because that is why he is here. He's here to pass on to the Bhakti knowledge, the knowledge of how to surrender to Krishna, how to love Krishna, how to serve him. That is the knowledge he is passing on to. So the Guru and the Parampara is the conductor. Now, you might know that in a wire, when electricity is passed, there is something that will arise that's also called resistance. So the whole electrical engineering field, they put a lot of innovative thought process to maximize the amount of energy, electrical energy that can be transferred through the wire by reducing the resistance within that wire. So many inventions happened around this. So in our life also, we need to look at that resistance. Sometimes the resistance will come within us. We have to constantly introspect. We may take shelter one time, You may take initiation. You may take second initiation also. That does not mean we have got rid of all the resistance. You have to continuously introspect. Is there any resistance to receive the grace of the Lord? Read the scriptures, read Srimad Bhagavatam, continuously introspect, hear from the devotees. And we see, we have to endeavor all the time to see how I can maximize the flow of grace within us. That should be our constant endeavor. One of the simple things to develop is simplicity, to increase this flow of the grace of the Lord. That we should become very simple. That is the simplest solution. Simplest solution. We should become simple. Simple means not without any money or anything like that. Simple means there is no duplicity in our dealings. So you can judge a sadhu by seeing how he is within and without, how much he has become the same person. When we have not advanced so much in the spiritual path, we may have so much duplicity. We may be covering ourselves with a lot of, duplicity. We may have different faces. Why? Because we are fear. Fear is there. If I show my face outside, maybe people will criticize me. They may not like me. That fear is there. Attachment to respect is there. Attachment to worship is there. People will not worship me. All these things are there. So duplicitous behavior. Externally say something, internally behave differently. Or ulterior motive. Have an ulterior motive when we are dealing with other devotees. You may say, oh, I'm trying to help you. Or actually, within the mind, we may be thinking, how I am going to get benefited in the whole process. Or how my mind will become happy by trying to do this thing for another person. And I'm not worried about his happiness. All I am worried about is my own happiness. I will become happy by doing this. I'm not worried about other person's happiness. No, the real happiness, not the material happiness. So with ulterior motive, hidden motives, we approach. That's duplicitous behavior. We should become very simple. And for us in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, it is even more important. Why? In Vrindavan, everybody is simple, which is what we are aiming to achieve. So one time, Nanda Maharaj, on following Ekadashi fasting, the next day he went to Yamuna river to take bath very early before the sunrise, because sometimes the Ekadashi can become very short and you have to be very quick to complete the fast. And to complete the fast, you need to take bath. So those days they were not taking bath within the home, just like we have bathtub, bath shower, everything. They had to go to the river or nearby lake or well, whatever it is. So they go there and then take their shower. So Nanda Maharaj has gone before sunrise. In Dwapara Yuga, actually before taking bath in the river before sunrise is considered an offense. We are disrespecting, we are violating a rule. But in modern days, most of us are doing, because it's Kali Yuga, the Devatas anyways gave up. But in Dwapara Yuga, it's a very rare incident that somebody going before the sunrise and taking bath. So because it was a rare incident, the servant of Varuna, he arrested Nanda Maharaj for this activity. So when he arrested, Nanda Maharaj went inside the water and then never came out. All the cowherd men and women, they were all men were standing when they were guarding for Nanda Maharaj. They were standing on the shore of Yamuna. They were just shouting, "Oh Krishna, oh Balaram, what happened to Nanda Maharaj? We don't know. He did not come back." So Krishna was sleeping back in his home in Vrindavan. in his home, but he heard the voice. So he actually came there to see what was happening. So he jumped into the river and then he entered into the empire of Varunadev. It was so opulent, filled with all sorts of opulence. It was explained that Nanda Maharaj was amazed, astonished. He couldn't even take off his eyes. He was just looking around all the opulence. So much opulence is there. It's not that underground water, but there is a realm, there is an empire that is there, in a different realm. So there he has entered. So Krishna, when he entered there, the emperor of that whole empire, Varunadev, who is sitting on the throne, he came down and then he was respecting Krishna. Oh, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'm so much grateful that you have come here. Now I have attained the success of my life. And he was profusely offering prayers to Krishna. And he was saying, my foolish servant who is ignorant, he has captured Nanda Maharaj without knowing, first of all, Nanda Maharaj is father of Krishna. He is in that pastime. So he did not understand that, whom to arrest and whom not to arrest. So that is a mistake. Second thing, on the technical grounds, because it was Ekadashi, it was a short Ekadashi, he should have understood that he should not have arrested the person for taking bath to complete the fast of Ekadashi. It was a proper thing. So he wasn't even aware of that. Without knowing these things, he arrested. So Varunadev was saying, he is a foolish person to arrest. Please forgive me because I am the master of that foolish person. I have done a lot of offenses to you, O the Supreme Lord. He was praying like that. Then Nanda Maharaj is watching all these things. Nanda Maharaj was thinking until that point that I thought Krishna was my son. Now the Varunadev, the emperor of the whole empire, he was glorifying Krishna as if he's a Supreme Lord. He was astonished to see that. Then Krishna took Nanda Maharaj and then came to Vrindavan. So Nanda Maharaj started talking. All the Vrajavasis, they are saying that Krishna is not whom we think. Garga Muni has told us in the past that Krishna is like Narayana, but it doesn't look like he is like Narayana. He himself seems to be Narayana because he was worshipped by Varunadev. So they were all just gossiping within them. Then some of the Vrajavasis started saying, oh, if Krishna is God, he should give us some boon. Because he is our brother, he is our daughter's son, he is our, boy. We have nicely grown him up. So even though they saw Krishna as Supreme God, still their natural tendency, natural affection toward Krishna hasn't gone away. Whereas in the case of Arjuna, if you see, when Krishna showed the universal form, in the middle of Bhagavad Gita recitation. So Arjuna, what did he tell? Oh, Krishna, please forgive me. I have treated you like my friend. You are actually the Supreme Lord. But here Nanda Maharaj and the other Vrajavasis were not saying that. They did not say, oh, Krishna, you are the Supreme Lord. No, they are still treating him as like, their own person. But they just got to know one more new thing, that Krishna is also God. So anyways, they were saying that, oh, Krishna, you should give us liberation. You should, show the abode, your spiritual world, Vaikuntha. You should give us a place there. They were all requesting different things. So Krishna wanted to teach a lesson. We'll see what's that lesson at the end. So he took all the cohorts and he went to the Brahmaharda, which is a lake where Akrura was also given the darshan of the Narayana form. So Krishna took all the cowherd men, he went to the Brahmaharda and then he dipped them into that. So because they asked for liberation, he first showed them Brahmajyoti. That is the goal of the Gyanis who tried so much hard, births after births after births after births, bahunam janmanam ante. So many births they have to endeavor to achieve that goal. Krishna easily showed to them. And then after that, he took them out of Brahma Jyoti, because once you are in Brahma Jyoti, you just get merged. You have to be taken out. So he took them out, and then he showed them his Goloka planet, which is an Aishwarya Goloka. So Krishna is there, but he was worshipped like a king. The Vedas personified was glorifying Krishna with prayers. So many people were around him. They were serving Krishna constantly in a very majestic and with awe and reverence. All the cowherd men were seeing that, oh, Krishna is being so worshipped with this much awe and reverence. But now we don't feel like going and embracing him. Oh, this is not good. How will Yashoda live? Yashoda cannot live without feeding Krishna. How can we live without going and embracing Krishna? But this form he is showing us, we cannot go and embrace him. We feel so awe and reverent toward that form of Krishna. Then Krishna brought them back to Goloka Vrindavan. So then there he taught that lesson. Then all of them were very happy. So Krishna wanted to teach them the lesson that the Vrindavan, which the cowherds are there, that's actually more elevated place than Vaikunta or even the Aishwarya Goloka, which he showed, or even the Brahma Jyoti, which is also there in the Padma Purana prayers, which is quoted by Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion. Just quickly read that. Instruction. Vaikunta Vaikuntajanito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsava vrindaranyamudara pani ramana tatrapi govardhana radha kundamihapi gokulapate premamrita plavana kuryadasya virajato giritate sevam viveki nakaha. The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikunta, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavana because of Krishna's Rasalila pastimes, and superior to the forest of Vrindavana is Govardhana Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of various loving pastimes. And above all, the supreme excellent Sri Radha Kunda stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarian prema of the Lord of Gokula, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda, which is situated at the foot of the Govardhana hill? So it is clearly stated here that Mathura is superior to Vaikunta, and in that the Vrindavana is superior even to Mathurapuri. So he wanted to teach them the lesson. So by teaching this lesson, Krishna also teaches that importance of simplicity. The cowherd men and women, they were very simple in their heart. They didn't have very erudite scholarship, or they didn't have opulence and kingly political mind. like the Dwarkavasis. They didn't have all these things. They had very simple mind. And that was appreciated by Krishna in his most extraordinary form, in his wonderful form, which is the sweetest form. So the simplicity, even in the spiritual world, is also very much valued by Krishna. What to speak of when we are practicing bhakti. Simplicity is part of bhakti in itself, because when we are practicing bhakti, we are dependent on Krishna, surrendering to him. We don't need to be fearful of other things, because we are surrendering to Krishna. We automatically, all the anarthas in our heart will go away. And that anarthas are going away, then we will feel that we don't need to depend on the so-called constraints within our mind, which may give us happiness, which we are thinking that it will give happiness. For that, we need to have the understanding of our position correctly. So who are we? We are a small living entity in this whole cosmic world. So once we have a clarity of the whole understanding of situation as it is, which is called the Sambandha Gyan, then the Abhideya will become much simpler, the process of bhakti. So that is why, to understand what we are, what things are, we take shelter of a Vaishnava. So we'll read through the purport of Srila Prabhupada to see other points Prabhupada is quoting to us. Becoming Krishna conscious brings about anartha apagamaha, the disappearance of all anarthas, the miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries, but persons bound by the law of nature do not know the destination of life. As described in the previous verse, Ishatantriya Murudam Nibaddhaha. They are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life after life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has explained that materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stray further and further away from liberation and unwanted miseries. So this is also another important principle that Prabhupada is putting forward, that we are not aware of things as they are in this world because we are covered by this ignorance, which is part of Maya Shakti. Maya has two potencies, Vidya and Avidya. So Avidya, ignorance, covers the living entity's natural knowledge. Because it is covered, we cannot know things as they are. To uncover it, what do we need? Knowledge, Vidya. So Vidya can cancel Avidya. So the education becomes important. So the education is the right education, not the education which again plummets us into the same understanding or so-called same misunderstanding, right? So-called understanding. Same misunderstanding, if it is plummeting us, then that's not the right education. The education should relieve us from this ignorance and give us the ultimate purpose. When we come out of school, we are very much equipped with a skill set to work in this world. But we are not equipped with the knowledge of the soul, this for the self-realization purpose. So that's not the education being talked about by Prahlad Maharaj in this verse. So when we have to take shelter of Guru means we get the right education, not the education which are taught in the academics situations. One may ask why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness. The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully Krishna conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna.
The educators, scholars, and big political leaders worshipped by millions of people cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master in the Vedas. Therefore, in the Mundaka Upanishad, it is said, Na ayam atma pravachanena labhyaha na medhaya na bhaguna shutena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in an erudite way, pravachanena labhyaha, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. So this is a quotation from Mundaka Upanishad, where here he says, Now I am Atma. This refers to the Supreme Lord, Paramatma. You cannot attain this Paramatma by pravachana, lecturing. I may give nice lecture about material subjects, because spiritual lecture is again purifying to the lecturer and the hearers. But I'm talking about the material lecture, where I may talk about, let's say, computer science, or a particular software engineering process, or craftsmanship, or construction, or poetry. All these are materialistic knowledge. If I just talk nicely about that, showing my erudite scholarship, it is not going to make me attain the Supreme Lord. Pravachanena na labhyaha. You cannot attain this person. You cannot attain the Supreme Lord. Na medhya, not by one's own intelligence also. Na bhaguna shrutena, not by hearing too much lectures. Again, here it's referring to the material lectures. Just by discovering so many things, the scientists are very proud that one day we will just remove the veil of ignorance completely. They call themselves as the torch bearers. In the darkness of the whole world, they are bearing the torch. What kind of torch? Here the Mundaka Upanishad says that the person, the Supreme Lord, cannot be understood by a lot of erudite scholarship. There is a second part to this verse, which Prabhupada will quote later. Okay, here it is. Yam eva eshaha vrunute tena labhyaha tasya esha atma vivrunute tanum swam. So the Lord chooses the person, vrunute. He has to choose. He has to choose a person. Then we can see him. How can we choose the person? How can Krishna choose a person? How can we influence Krishna to choose us? Suppose I am a beggar in the street and I want Bill Gates to come and see me. Is it possible? It's impossible. What influential power I have to influence Bill Gates to come and see me? I don't have any leverage. I have zero leverage to make that happen. But if that person chooses to see me, then that action can happen. But why would that person choose? Why would God choose me? So many people are there. Why would he choose me? What action can I do to influence him to choose me? Some of us will say, oh, when we practice bhakti, basically what we are doing is we are focusing, giving our attention to Krishna. Because we have wealth, we have money, we have beauty, power, everything is given by Krishna. Definitely we cannot use that to influence him, because all these things are given by him. He has more than that, more than what we have. Out of compassion, he gives to us also some things, right? Which he doesn't even value that. He doesn't even glance into the material world, in the sense that in the beginning of the creation, when he that glance also, Lord Shiva takes that potency and then he reaches the material world. The Supreme Lord is completely detached from the material world. And so-called material opulence, what we can take to influence Krishna. So some of us may say that attention, we have the power, the Atma has the power of attention. It can put attention in different things. That attention, when we put to Krishna, we can influence him. But why does he need attention? He has so many people attending him in the spiritual world. And he is not an attention seeker. He is Atmaram. He even attracts Atmaram, those who are completely satisfied within themselves. He attracts them. Not that he is seeking attention of us for mere our meager attentive power. Why would he be interested in that? There's only one reason, one cause that could make us influence Krishna, which is he himself has to tell us how to influence him. He himself has to put certain conditions. You do this, then I will get influenced by you. Unless that happens, there is no other way this living entity can influence the Supreme Lord. This is why the process of bhakti, which is given by Krishna himself to influence him, is causeless mercy. There is no cause for Krishna to give this process to influence him. He's not seeking attention. He's not seeking any of the things we have, because rather he actually gave all the things we have. So this process of bhakti is causeless mercy of the Lord. Through that, we try to influence him, because he said that he will get influenced by it. And when he gets influenced by this practice of by our practice of bhakti, then he chooses us to see us. Okay, continuing. Just want to check if there is any questions, anybody have any comments, any thoughts you want to share?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
This is Bhumika. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry about the noise. I'm driving. My question was, you mentioned that it's not right to like before sunrise. What was that part actually?
Your voice was not so clear. I couldn't catch the question. Could you repeat again?
Yeah, sure. I was saying that you mentioned regarding Nanda Maharaj, right? That it's not good to take bath before sunrise. So I understood that the Ekadashi was short. That's why he was doing. But what is the overall idea like?
So there is a rule in the Vedic scriptures about different processes when you are following Nitya Karma and Naimitik Karma, basically daily activities and periodical activities when you are doing, there are so many rules to follow. One of the rules is that when you are taking bath in the river, you should not go and take bath before the sunrise. You can only touch the river after the sun rises. So he was apparently violating that rule. And that is why Nanda Maharaj's servant has arrested him. Though he was apparently violating, he wasn't violating, but because of Ekadashi reasons. So that was one of the rules that was given for performing your daily activities. There are so many rules. Some of the rules are listed in Hari Bhakti Vilas, where if you, for example, some are very difficult for us to follow in the modern day also. If you want to brush in the morning, you have to take a particular stem of a particular twig from a particular tree. And different seasons you have to use different trees. And then the twig size also has to be particular size. You cannot have a large or smaller one. It has to be on a particular size. Then you use that to brush your teeth. Becomes a little impossible to follow all the complex rules. So these rules are given to control our mind, basically, because if we do anything on our own, we will just do whimsically whatever our mind says. Oh, I like this, let me do that. I like that. Let me do that. So to control our mind, these complex rules were given so that we will be engaged and follow the rules rather than just, whimsically acting.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. I got it.
Thank you.
Thank you for explaining.
Hare Krishna. Jose Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for such a wonderful lecture tonight.
Thank you.
I just had so much downloads, and I'm realizing a lot with this lecture. And I in the morning I had a water bottle and I had a lid, and I couldn't find the lid. And for like 5 minutes, I had so much anxiety looking for the lid. I was like, "Oh my God, where's the lid?" and I just realized that because with this lecture, I realized that I was attached to this lid, And in contrast to this, I was watching the news, and I was watching all these great tragedies taking place, of course, in the news as always. And I didn't feel that anxiety. But it blew my mind that I felt such anxiety to a lid, something so insignificant. Thank you, Prabhu.
Oh, Jai, thank you for sharing that example. This is very nicely coincides with the topic we are discussing. Small lid, all our attention was, completely into that. When did that happen? Thank you, Jose Prabhu, for sharing.
Sorry, I was speaking on mute.
Okay.
Very, very nice lecture, very engaging lecture. You pick topics from, all the different scriptures and, our acharyas have written. There is one comment online. It says from Mark David Vincent, saying our motto is simple living, high thinking. I think he's quoting what Srila Prabhupada used to say. And when he said that, I was reminded of, in the purport of the verse 16.1.1-3 of Bhagavad Gita, Divine and Demoniac Natures, where Prabhupada is saying that, one should live like simplicity, is giving definition of simplicity, like straightforward living. So if you go there, if you search for simplicity, you will see below. Yeah. Yes, he's saying straightforward living, basically.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jai, thank you for bringing the relevant verse.
Yeah. So this is, and I remember Srila Prabhupada used to quote, because I used to hear some of his lectures, not so much the lectures, the morning walks was very attractive to me, morning walks and conversations. And he would often quote this, our philosophy is simple living, high thinking. So,
simple living, high thinking. Yeah.
That was I think he was quoting from there. Yeah.
So Prabhupada has this all nuggets. He puts complex philosophy into simple statements, Simple, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. That's it. Everybody just to join the moment. It's the power of great personalities.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very nice lecture, Prabhu. Very thank you for bringing all various examples. Particularly, I like the example you gave about Prahlad Maharaj, that because he was leading a very simple life, he was, again, that fearlessness, again, same verse here, the divine quality, fearlessness. What is that fearlessness Prabhupada is saying is that you are never alone. You are never alone. There is always someone who is taking care of you. And Prahlad Maharaj had that, it's not theoretical. He actually believed in it. And Nishingadev, basically, he was always in misery because he had everything, but still he felt that, there is something he's missing. Basically, something is going out of his control. He always had that fear. And but Prahlad Maharaj didn't have anything, basically. And then he was fearless.
That's very wonderful. I mean, Hiranyakashipu had everything, all the protection we could even think of. Yeah. He was always fearful, somebody could just, trip here, somebody could trip there. He has to be constantly alert and watchful. Whereas Prahlad Maharaj cared for nothing, basically, Nishkinchana, just walking on the street without caring for anything, because he knows Krishna is providing support, as you rightly pointed out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the lecture.
Okay, so I will just complete this purport, then we'll just stop. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is the grace of Krishna is being mentioned. So we need to imbibe the grace of Krishna. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First, one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya. The only means is to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of a realized soul, a Mahat or Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Mahatmanastu mam partha Devim prakritim ashritah bhajantyananya manaso nyatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted miseries of life, one must become a devotee. So here again, Prabhupada is pointing out, as Ashray Madhav Prabhu has pointed out, that we are understanding Krishna. Not only just we are understanding, we are also understanding Krishna means Krishna is Tadure Tadantike. He is there very far, but he is also very close to us. He is closer than anything that can be closer to you. He is that much close. He is closer than your own very self, because this very self within the self, he is existing as the super self. So when we are convinced by that fact, then we become fearless. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvai gunais tatra samasate surah. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna consistently manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite katitha hyartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the inputs of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shvetasvara Upanishad 6.23. So here it's a very famous verse, Yasya deve para bhakti. Just as we have the great bhakti unto the Supreme Lord, the same bhakti to the same extent we have, we should also have on the Guru. The Mangalarati prayer written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, he says, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Sastra Utsasta Thaba Yatayeva Sadbihi. Sakshat Hari. The Guru is directly Hari. Sakshat Hari. That is what all the scriptures are saying, and the sadhus are also saying. He is not different from Hari himself. But Kintu Prabhoho Yaha Priya Eva Tasya. But he is dear to Krishna. What does that mean? When he says he is Sakshad Hari, doesn't mean that the Guru is taking the position of Hari, but he should be respected as directly as Hari. Why? Because he is dear to Krishna. He is so dear to Krishna, he becomes, he attains the state of being respected, just like Lord Hari. But he is always a devotee. We are not equating Guru with Krishna in the sense of their the tattva wise they are same, but in the respect wise we have to give them same respect. That is the same thing it is being told here. Para bhakti, the same bhakti we should have for the Guru. because Krishna says in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that one should see the Acharya as himself, not different from him. When that happens, then the import of the Vedic knowledge will be revealed. So there was one story where the student went to learn the knowledge from Guru in the ashram. So he was a brahmachari. So all the students were learning for a longer time. After the graduation period came, all of them took leave from Guru and then they left. This was during the Vedic times, where the disciples go and live with the Guru and serve Guru and then learn the Vedic knowledge. But this disciple, he was thinking that the Guru must be having secret knowledge. He's not giving to others. I want that secret knowledge, so I'm going to stay back. So he went to Guru and then he told, I want the secret knowledge that you have. You're not teaching to others. Then Guru said, okay, yes, I have a secret knowledge. I will give you whenever I feel it is the right time. So then he continued to serve for a very long time. He wasn't told that secret knowledge. Years were passing. So one time the wife of Guru came to the Guru and then said, this guy, your disciple, he's serving us for a very, very long time. He is looking for that secret knowledge. You should just give him that secret knowledge. Why are you so much delaying? So then the Guru said, yes, okay, tomorrow I will give him that knowledge. Then the next day morning, he went to take bath. The Guru went to take bath. At that time, the disciple was doing the yagya. So these devatas, they appeared from the yagya. They were very tejas, this glorious, and they were like, shining. So they appeared in front of this disciple and then said that because of your bhakti to Guru, we are so much satisfied with your bhakti and we are going to give you that secret knowledge that you are looking for. Then this disciple said, yes, please give me that secret knowledge. Then they gave that secret knowledge to that person. After hearing that, this disciple's body started, glittering. He was so effulgent. He was radiating effulgence because of the power of the secret knowledge. Then the Guru came back from the bath. And then he was looking at, oh, something has changed. He has become so effulgent. Then he asked the disciple, what was that? What did happen? Then the disciple told everything that, personalities appeared from the yagya, and then they gave me this secret knowledge. Then Guru was very satisfied to look at the disciple. Then after that point, the disciple told the Guru, now please, you teach me that secret knowledge. Then the Guru actually taught him the secret knowledge. So this also shows the etiquette. It is not, sometimes because of our own endeavor, sometimes we get the knowledge, but we should again go back to Guru and then get the knowledge from the Guru, because the import of the Vedic knowledge gets revealed through the Guru, and that is also the etiquette. Yam yeva yesha vrunute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrunute tanum swam. The Lord is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Mundaka Upanishad 3:2-3. These are Vedic injunctions. One must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially erudite scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a nishkinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to Godhead. Again, when I talk about Guru, here it can be Shiksha Guru, it can be Diksha Guru, because both have to be respected equally. And wherever one have attraction, whichever either Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru, one can take the same knowledge from that person. Because in traditional society, especially this Upanishad, it is talking mainly about the Shiksha Guru, because Diksha is usually given by the father, before the student goes to the Gurukul, the Vedic Diksha, Upanayana ceremony, and the Gurukula, the Shiksha happens. So it could be Shiksha Guru or it could be Diksha Guru, but we take knowledge from the Guru. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. I will stop here. Thank you, Ashray Madhav Prabhu, for conducting this. Thank you, Jose Prabhu. Thank you, Momita Mansi, for joining.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining this class, and thank you, Brother Jivan Prabhu, for giving
you.
very wonderful lecture. Momita Mataji, you wanted to say something? Please go ahead.
So I was just saying thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank
It
you.
was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Haribol.
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Kori Vaishnav Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.
Brother Jivan Prabhu ki jai.
Yay.
Baat ki jai.
Yay.
Dear devotees, we'll now close this session. Hare Krishna.